Welcome back to Season 2 of the Love Letters to Virginia podcast. I'm your host, Vanessa Pasmino. Thanks for listening. So I follow this group on Facebook. It's called I Grew Up in Tidewater. This is a post from Michael Kitchens, and I loosely have everyone's permission to do this. I really just took it upon myself to do this because I want to have more collaboration between me and the people. It's not just about the businesses and it's not just about the artists. It's about us, the people. So here's a little bit about the people that grew up here. Every so often, I like to post a list of you are from / live in Tidewater if type things, because we have new members who join periodically. This time, however, I'll just post one item and then the rest you can put yours in the comments. I'll start. You are from / live in Tidewater if you know what the boulevard is. Which boulevard is he talking about? All right, Ann Suggs says, going to the original pottery in Williamsburg on special day trips several times a year with my mom, and shopping any of the many stores here, M&R, Smith & Welton's, Rice's, etc., that had such great customer service. Liz Morrison Thumb says, I'm sorry, Liz, I hope I said your name right. One of my favorite memories was driving to Chesapeake as a kid. It was mostly countryside then. We'd go to a farm and buy a half-side of beef. As a teen, I'd go horseback riding. As an older teen, I watched it start to all disappear. That's so sad. Melissa Butler. Back when Virginia Beach was a smaller community, there was a newspaper section called the Kempsville Pictorial, where they'd go around and find everyday life going on and print it. Man, that would be nice. That's kind of like the Humans of New York, but like here. Alan Golombek says, if you remember the first neighbors on your block to get a TV, if you remember listening to dramas, westerns, sci-fis, sitcoms, and soap operas on the radio. I sure do love nostalgia. And the great thing about nostalgia is it's so overarching. It, pretty much anyone can appreciate elements of nostalgia, no matter where you're from. David Tam Knopp says, going to the bakery tour as kids in school and everyone would have a pack of rolls going home. Or going to Jamestown and everyone on the bus would break their clay pipes that they bought at the gift shop. Cindy Green replies with, the gingerbread was the best. Jennifer Walker says, if you don't think twice about the name The Great Bridge Bridge, gotten some weird looks from people on that one, even after explaining. Shannon Duke says, the Jewish mother at the Virginia Beach oceanfront where you could write on the walls with crayons, live music every weekend, and the best food. Pour one out for one's Jewish mother. I loved going as a kid to Doc's Pizza. My dad was good friends with George. Dad also played softball for their team. Rick Park says, if you remember the aroma of fresh bread baking around Monticello Avenue. Pam Connor Matthews says to Rick Park, or peanuts and coffee from the coffee company next to Price's Appliance. I worked at Price's for 10 years and those peanut holes would get all over our cars. Mel Beam responds to Rick Park with wholesome bread. Gave out miniature loaves on school tours. Smart merchandising. Kids wanted moms to buy it. Wayne Brown. Now this one's interesting. Anyone remember that half-sunk ferry over by Breezy Point on the base? We used to swim underwater inside of it. Probably wasn't legal and definitely dangerous, but we were just dumb, bulletproof kids. Michael A. Lang Sr. to Wayne Brown. Used to fish there. Deborah Chappell says, you played pinball at Flipper McCoy's. Went to Shocky's Pizza? Shocky's Pizza. Even I don't know what she's talking about. And sang along with the words on the screen, or ate at Hurd's restaurant in VB. Now, everyone on this thread keeps mentioning Hurd's, and I'm just so damn sad that it's gone. I never got a chance to try it, and everybody says it was delicious. Brenda Freeman Keller mentions Burroughs Restaurant after dance recitals and fudge cake anytime. Jean Allen says, when you walked through the doors at Rice's and smelled the fragrance of their perfume fountain, not to mention the air conditioner. Catherine L. Lane responds with, the one in downtown sounded like a car squelching to put on the brakes. Oh. Catherine L. Lane responds with, the one in downtown sounded like a car squelching when you put the brakes on. That was on second floor in Linens. I had a customer one day grab the counter and said, oh my God, my husband. I hope it wasn't my husband. Brian Beecham asks, does anyone remember the Premier Theater in downtown Norfolk? It originally was the Lowe's Theater, was the largest in Norfolk. 2,200 seats. It was converted to a concert hall by Whisper Concerts, but they didn't support the project for long. The wonderful old theater only hosted a few concerts before closing for good. A little known fact, the original generating system for the first electric streetcars in downtown Norfolk are located in the basement of the theater. The old theater and stage is now owned by Tidewater Community College as a lecture hall. And yes, I have in fact performed on that stage. Sarah Acuff, you are from Norfolk if you know where Gray's Pharmacy was. Michelle Carmody Nelson mentions Henry the Bull del Toro, Norfolk Catholic High School, Fast Brothers, aka Family Fish House, and Tidewater Fish House. Or, and I mentioned it before, Herds, as everyone loved that place. Kim Breland Ellis responds to Michelle with, I remember when he got the city freaked out by stating Mount Trashmore was going to blow up due to trapped methane gas buildup. Now, she's referring to Henry the Bull del Toro. Apparently, Henry the Bull del Toro also did this, according to Michelle Carmody Nelson. He slept in a dog shelter at the Norfolk SPCA to raise money for them. Can't remember how long he was there, but it was more than a few days. Now, I think that's pretty honorable. Crazy, but definitely honorable. Mike Mizal mentions, if you remember that the Waterside opened in 83 and was very family-friendly as compared woefully to today. Deborah Lynn Downs mentions you're from Tidewater if you had your senior pictures taken at Macintosh Studio. Brad Hamilton says there wasn't much of anything but farms south of the Green Line. And you knew your way around all of the back roads in Virginia Beach and all the ways to beat the tourist traffic to Croatan or Sandbridge on the, quote, 5-mile stretch, or to the Outer Banks, taking Centerville through Chesapeake. It's just so cool to see all these different memories from a place that has completely transformed before their eyes. I've only been here since the mid-90s, so there's a ton of history here, period. But there's also a ton of recent history that only the people here remember. And I just love this page because it helps me to connect with people who have these really just touching, heartfelt, personal anecdotes that just, remind you that everyone has a story to tell. And we're all just human, It's interesting to see the things that have brought us together over the years. And I just hope that we can, keep that kind of energy in Virginia Beach. It is such a community-based place. People really do care about each other, and they try really hard to help each other out. So I want to keep seeing more businesses and delightful people working together for the community. Let's bring back block parties. Brittany Jane's doing that. Let's do it in Virginia Beach too. Let's build that picnic table together, like Latasha Holloway says. Do you have a hard time coming up with content ideas for your podcast? I find that there is nothing more embarrassing than all of a sudden being stumped in the middle of a conversation where it's like, I know I had more questions for you, but I just can't remember what they are right now. And that's why I'm trying Poddex. Poddex is the best all-in-one podcast idea generation tool. You get everything from episode ideas to interesting conversation starters for interviews, engaging discussions for your live streams, and even social media content ideas. With this tool, you don't have to spend weeks trying to come up with content for an episode or unique questions for your guests. Just shuffle the cards and pick one at random, hit the record button, and get started. Now you can make better content, have more fun while you're at it, and get your viral moment, all with Poddex. Head over to poddex.com and use code C4C.
Hey, this is Latasha Holloway. I plan to be the future mayor of Virginia Beach, but when the time comes, I will need your support. As a veteran of the healthcare field, I understand something about empathy. We must have empathy and compassion in order to improve Virginia Beach.